Ken Snyder over here has the giant 3D printer in our continuing cavalcade of show and tell.
Lead screw driven, but it's pretty much the same build volume. It's 8 cubic feet. So 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet.
I am going to need the
And I've just got it connected and it's warming up right now, but have it start putting in a little bit. So one of the big differences, the big kind of a breakthrough, is that it's half the price of the Gigabot. It's going for $12,000. This is only $6,000 right now. And if anybody here locally wants to buy one, it's actually only $5,500 because it's $500 for shipping and stuff. So it's actually for local people less than half price of Gigabot. But pretty much the same resolution. It's got like 8 micron resolution.
Thank you.
But if you want to go to 3070 stuff, you can do 4 microns. But 3D printing, that's
when
there isn't much difference.
now,
4 microns.
Okay.
Another difference is I try to use the best components that I can. So what I've got on the side there is a Bondtech extruder, which I think is hands down the best one. It's got dual geared hub pulleys, so it's pulling the filament through on both sides. It's also made it to a better than 5-to-1 geared stepper motor, so that the torque on it is just incredible. It's insane. So you will not strip that filament. It will not strip out on you. Especially if you're doing a build or a print that's taking several days, you don't want your extruder to feel right. So that is the best one on the market, bulletproof. And also, I've got the new PrinterBot Ubis 13S hot end, which is, I think right now it's the best one on the market. Way better than the E3D, V6s, and all their variants. So it also has changeable nozzle sizes as well, which is one of the reasons I like that. Plus, you can do it cold. You don't have to heat it up like you do with the E3D series. So, let's see.
Materials?
Well, the hot end is rated up to 270 degrees Celsius, so pretty much any kind of plastic. No metals, stuff like that. And you can get a variety pack of nozzle sizes from PrinterBot directly. They go from 0.2 to 1.2, I believe it is, millimeters. You've got a wide range that you can do there. So I just printed this a couple hours before. Sticks pretty good. Go ahead and pass that around. That's printed with a 0.75 millimeter nozzle. Let's see. So the Kickstarter, like I said, is running for about 3.5 more weeks. So I'm hoping to, the goal is just 10 of them, so $60,000. So I'm going to go around and do some demos like this, and then I'm also going to do some social media marketing next week here to really kind of kick it off again.
So just curious, what's the next step after you make these? Are you going to make one bigger?
Yeah, I've got so many ideas. One will be like a Pro Series. So I'll take a lot of these components and instead of doing like an open build like this, I would do a linear rail. So the components will be a little bit more expensive. So the price will reflect that too. So that Pro Series will probably be like a $10,000 printer component. So $4,000 less. It's really quite the market right now. That's kind of my marketing strategy too. Like I said, it's half the price of the Gigabot, and it's just good, if not better. The Gigabot actually uses belts. It's belt driven, and for something this big, I don't think that's a good choice. I think they made that choice there. With all lead screw driven, and it's a fast travel Acme lead screw with 8 starts. So it's got a 1-inch lead on it, so it's still pretty accurate, but fast as well. But since it's got, it's all lead screw driven, it's very precise, and so if you try to go like moving quickly with the non-cream moves. You don't get the wobbling that you do with a belt. And of course, the longer the belt, the bigger the printer, the more wobble and stretching you're going to get in that belt. So this kind of eliminates all of that. The design actually ended up being so strong that it was not designed to be a mill, but kind of a funny story. I was leveling the bed one day, and I've got hex head screws in here embedded in, and I accidentally moved the x-axis across, and I left the screwdriver in, and it just sheared the hardened steel of the screwdriver just right off. You know, didn't even misstep, it didn't hesitate, nothing. It just moved. You know, like it wasn't even there. And that's when I figured, okay, this is strong enough. It's got enough torque and everything. I can try out a mill. So if you go on the Kickstarter, you'll actually see a little video of me trying out like a flex shaft mill. And you can see, I've also got a printable mount for a Dremel, so you can actually put a Dremel directly on it as well.
Do you have a bed leveling sensor?
I don't have a bed leveling sensor, no. But, hopefully you don't do that very often. Everything is double nutting back here, so once you get it leveled, you want to tighten down those nuts, and it should not be.
The things heat up and they expand and warp and so on, right?
Yeah, but that's taken into consideration. So these are countersunk heads, but they're not connected or threaded at the bed. So when it does expand ever so slightly, the screw can actually pivot just a little bit, so it's not going to affect it. It's not going to affect the rope. And these are pretty beefy springs going up against it. So it's also got a heating pad. It's 1,420 watts. So it's AC running directly off of from the line, but it's controlled through a solid-state relay. So the board still controls the on and on, but the power comes directly from the line. So it heats up much faster than like the regular PCB one, 12 volt PCB. Let's see.
Can you heat the build chamber?
You could if you put something over it, like a tent or something like that. But I found you don't really need it, as long as everything is the right temperatures. I don't see a lot of work with these that I do. This is typically in my garage, and I've done some beautiful grids with overhangs and everything in the middle of December in my garage. And I haven't seen these.
With ABS?
I don't do a lot of ABS, but there's some new mixtures of the ABS that don't smell bad and they don't shrink nearly as much. But if you want to do something really tough, you might want to go with like PETG. That's kind of like the next plastic that's becoming very popular. It's much denser than PLA and more than even ABS. It's really tough plastic.
Is that what that was?
No, that's just PLA. I should have brought a PETG. So you'd see that it's almost indestructible. You know that plastic that covers all the toys at Toys R Us, that is so hard getting that off. And, you know,
Clamshell?
That's
Yeah.
PETG, yeah. Clamshell, that's PETG. So,
That stuff.
yeah, it's a tough plastic. Yeah.
Is there any way to solvent weld that?
Anyway, what?
To solvent weld ETG?
I couldn't tell you.
Because I make a lot of little pieces out of ABS and solvent weld them together, and that's really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And that's part of what I do with the acrylic. I use a solvent to put the different pieces of plastic together, so it's actually stronger there than anywhere else. I did that to kind of simplify the frame instead of going like with the cheap aluminum rails, because these stepper motors, they vibrate just ever so small, but over the course of 6 months to 12 months, you're going to find all those little screws and everything loosen up, and then the whole accuracy of the printer goes out. So this one, it's really tough construction. You see the cable is moving, but the frame is not giving it all. It's incredibly rigid. I've also added an outlet on the side here, which is also the power to it is controlled through the printer as well with G-code for milling. So that you can actually connect an AC mill to the side here and operate a mill that way with it. Another option that it has is a laser. So I've got a 5.5 watt blue laser I can attach onto the carriage. Let me bring that chair over a bit. I can get a little bit better look at the UBIS 13S hot end there. So this aluminum mount holds the hot end on with just 2 screws. The laser uses those same holes and 2 more identical directly below it to mount the laser on there. And there's also a power attachment as well, right here for the laser. So you just plug it in right there. And the hot end, the UBIS comes with these connectors, so you can do a quick disconnect. So the laser will come pre-wired. Even if you don't get the laser option, at least the printer will be pre-wired for that and pre-wired for
So how long does it take to print something big?
It depends on what the object is and how much is on the interior and things like that. I've printed large Coke cases. In fact, I have one in my car. I'll bring it out later. That took about 3 days to print.
How about the cup that we're passing around?
That took a little over an hour.
Very nice.